Oh, okay, now there is a button start. Yeah, finally. Hello, guys. Yeah, I think I see it. 6 people are watching. Nice. So that worked. Thank you for waiting. And I hope you can hear me clearly. Let me check that. Yes, I think you can hear me clearly. You see the video, guys? Just black screen?
No, it's like this.
Oh, okay. So maybe it is a little bit delayed still. Streaming. I think YouTube is slow today.
The scene from the camera.
Scene is from the camera? Oh, yeah. That's actually from the camera. Thanks. Yeah, it's probably going to be working now. Guys, if you can hear us from the stream, please write something in chat that you can hear us and then you can see us. If that's true, we're going to begin. Hi, welcome.
Oh, now it's
Perfect. Yeah, it's probably going to be slow because we're all on this Wi-Fi now. And yeah, okay. I'm just hopeful that the sound is coming through as well. Well, at least we have a recording locally. So if not, I'm going to delete this and restart. Welcome, guys, and welcome to our second ITM community announcement and ITM issue number 2. I decided to make another small presentation about us, about what we're doing and what we want to do. But I'm not going to take a lot of time, so this will be about half size of the last one. So it's just 12 slides instead of 25. So in that regards, I'm going to start right away. About myself, you probably know me already, but I have a lot of words on the screen about myself. So I'm like a Linux nerd and crypto geek a little bit. And I enjoy tech, basically. So that's why I did these meetups. And I've been doing meetups for quite a while. And that's been one of my passions. And I like also giving speeches about different important topics. And I believe there are so many topics that I could probably do this event every day, as far as I have enough people, and still talk about something, if I only had enough energy, power to do that. But what is ITM? So ITM, you can also expand it as you like in different ways, right? So it can be international tech meetups, or it can be something else for you. You'll figure it out during our journey together. And basically, we'd like to provide a high-quality common ground for the tech industry to connect, interact, and do important things together, and most importantly, on a regular basis. So then everybody could have a common platform for that. And there are some platforms, but we look into our platform as more general and accepting everything, including like completely different areas of knowledge, like maybe medicine or AI or something beyond philosophy and other topics and writers and books and many, many other topics. You can check on our website the topics that we are looking into. And this is, of course, we can expand it even further. So we're doing these hybrid events, and hopefully we'll get better at it in time. And basically, if you're online, you can also feel free to ask us questions. We'll try to keep on with the YouTube chat and see if there's any questions and answer them. And you can also basically stop me during the presentation or in the end. Yeah, so basically the focus is also, of course, great speakers, because without great speakers, you wouldn't have audience and you wouldn't make any impact. And make it interesting and educational as well. That's like the shape and the form. So also we're going to experiment with different formats. We already have at least 3 more formats that we will do. And we will experiment with more of them in the future, but that's going to be for a couple of months. Next event is going to be a bit larger, hopefully, and it will be in a different location, but is in the same building. Yeah, so basically, in the end, these events should be fully decentralized, so you don't see my face every time speaking as a opening a small speech, but like different people every time. And basically, the format will stay sort of the same, but people who are going to make speeches will change every time, right? And so this is totally community-driven. We have, in the same shape and form, already set up of board games. Who are coming from the board games environment? There's like, yeah, there's. I see some people that coming from board games but don't raise their hands. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, So some of you come from the board games, and that's already a decentralized event. So this way, we would like to make these events as well. So in time, we'll get there. So basically, this would be a flexible framework for great communities and great companies to share their knowledge, to share their ideas. And in the very, very long term, that could be a shape or a framework for the basis for the city of the future. So that's like the longest of my ideas, like the heaviest one as well. And obviously, you need a lot of brainstorming. So this is like entry to the brainstorming level. And then when we have enough people, we'll get the different other formats activated as we go. All right? So I would also like to say in the beginning, thanks for our partners that are, not all of them are here, but all of them are mentioned. Well, some of them are mentioned here. So it's Rebel, the building we're in, and it's Daily Scandinavian and Web3 Fjord. Artyom is running somewhere around and inviting our guests still. So also we have a common media sharing social networks and stuff like that. Also we have a video streaming partner. Hi, welcome. Nice to see you. Hi, guys. Yes, so we have a couple of partners, and you see there's a lot of space in this slide. So we can expand this a little bit and add more partners as we go, and hopefully make it so it doesn't fit on one slide, so we need multiple.
Have to become the partner.
Yes, absolutely. Would be super happy. We can talk about this. We will have a networking session right after the event, right? And 100% just talk and let's do something together. Let's do something on a regular basis as well. Yes, now to the surprise part, right? I promised those who are offline. So you guys online, you have a nice maybe way of getting, like, thinking about getting to Oslo, you know, to visit us physically. But right now, basically, we would like to say that today we don't have a photographer or videographer. So if you feel so making a photo, just do it. And also, if you share it with us, super awesome, because then we have some content to share, right? Otherwise, we'll have to use a YouTube stream and a little bit laggy stream in there. And just maybe do like that and just make it a photo. Yes. So we also have LinkedIn, Facebook, and we'll expand to more networks. And the thing what I was mentioning before is this is the URL that you can actually navigate, itmeetups.deform.cc. It will also appear second time, so you don't have to capture it right away. And this is the URL you can go to get these soulbound tokens after our event. So this is what we're experimenting with, and we will also love to see your input, feedback. And there is a feedback form in this URL. You can leave your feedback, and you can also leave your contact details if you want to get contacted back. And this is uses Polygon. So if you have a Polygon Ethereum address, then you're good to go. If not, then ask us, and we can help you to set it up. And also thanks to our friends that mentioned there, Mai Sch and also Ida Hvitsand, which helped us with this project. And I think she is probably online. Hi, Ida, if you're online. Yes. And yeah, here are the list what we need for help. I just want to stress out more that we really need help in setting everything up, because we're basically 2.5 people right now, maybe 3. So if we get 2 or 3 more people, that would be super awesome, with the photos, with the videos, with other stuff. So if you want to help, if you have an opportunity to help, please contact me at any moment, at any time. Just ask me, and I'll let you know. There's a lot of things that we can do together. And if you're speaking about from the commercial side, we also can have partnerships and find a way to interact together and do some awesome stuff, right? So that's basically our socials. Yeah, you probably know already them, the website and everything else. But if you don't, you can make a photo of this slide, and also you'll see these links at least once more today. These are my personal contacts, and yes, I wouldn't take any more of your time, and I will move to our first speaker, Vasily, right away, just after we change the slides. And please welcome our first speaker. You would need to put it here. Maybe here. Yeah. Can we do it like that? Is it fine?
Yeah, I think so. If it works, then it's fine.
It should work. Just give me. Here we go. Give me
Thank you.
Change the slide deck. Oh, it's here.
So yeah, Hi everyone, my name is Vasily, and today we're going to discuss a little bit about the future of blockchain, what is the private blockchains, and how do we use zero-knowledge technology in the blockchain industry. So, yeah, so it does not work, of course. Okay, okay, now it works. So yeah, today we're going to discuss a little bit like, we will start like who I am, like what do we do, like in the company, like a little bit of my experience. Then move a little bit to the private blockchains, what is the difference between like private and public blockchain. We're going to discuss a little bit of the use cases, like because you all know about the crypto, about like Bitcoin, Ethereum, but probably use blockchain more often, but sometimes you don't actually know about the technology underneath, right? We're going to use we're going to also talk about the utility of zero-knowledge proofs and zero-knowledge technology in the private blockchain. And yeah, and also by the end, I'm going to share a little bit of alpha for investments and like our vision, where do we see the private blockchains is going to move? Like, what are the narrative of the current of the industry? So yeah, let me start a little bit about myself. Yeah, I have some experience working with mobile games, quite a lot. I used to work in Opera Software, then it was kind of like a split it and it became the Bimobi, so kind of like a sister company of Opera Software. Used to manage a lot of mobile games, educational services for kids, security services in the countries, in the developing countries, so traveled a lot to Myanmar, Bangladesh, Nigeria, to the places where then you don't usually travel, and yeah. I did business there with mobile operators, so it's kind of like a combined with like a telco and subscription services for just like regular users. And then all of a sudden, I started trading, right, by buying Ethereum and Bitcoins, and then I started to read a little bit more about the technology underneath. And blockchain is basically like a big rabbit hole, right? Once you start like reading, oh, that's actually cool, right? It's really hard to get out from this rabbit hole. So before that, I used to work in PwC as a kind of like a tax consultant, advisory in tax, but it was super boring, so I don't really like to talk about that. Yeah, here you have the website of the current company where I work right now. It's a Gateway. So like in Gateway, I got the opportunity to basically combine my hobby, like this kind of a rabbit hole with crypto and blockchain, and work, right? So I still don't understand why they actually pay me money for the things. Like I would probably do it for free. yeah, and that's Twitter for some insights and like interesting stuff what we do. So yeah, feel free to scan it and give us the feedback. So yeah, a little bit about the company. So we started a little bit more than 3 years ago, and the core team actually came from Opera Software. So I was also surprised to hear Dan talking about the Opera and like the Norwegians are selling it to the Chinese. And the reason why Gateway actually was born is because the Opera was bought by Chinese people, and they didn't really like blockchain, right? So they were like, like a blockchain. So the department where the core team was working, they didn't get enough resources, they didn't get enough money. So so the team decided, okay, we're gonna do it ourselves, like and better, right? Because like we know how to do the infrastructure. And this is basically how we started. We started with blockchain infrastructure, pure blockchain infrastructure, meaning that we run servers, like a huge nodes, like the network of nodes that allow you to, as like a user of the blockchain company who use blockchain, to connect to the blockchain. Because like, what is blockchain? It's like a huge network, right? And in order to read and write data from the network, from this database, you need to have some entry point. So you need to have this gateway. And that's actually why we called ourselves Gateway as a company. And this is how we started with like a pure infrastructure by providing gateway to the users. Then we thought like, okay, pure blockchain infrastructure is cool, but we also can run validators and we can do staking. So yeah, we kind of moved a little bit to that business. And right now we have $700 million locked as a kind of a stake. So we run infrastructure validators for companies, for individuals, and we got some rewards out of it. And the last part of the kind of vertical of the business is Presto. I think it's the most exciting one. It's basically the platform that allows you to create your custom private blockchain. So it's kind of like a puzzle, right? So you open the platform, you put like different components there, kind of like different layers, different tokens, different security levels, speed, and like and stuff like that, some tooling there, and then you press deploy, and 10 minutes after you have kind of like a cool technology, cool blockchain specifically tailored for your particular need, right? Yeah, and like since we launched it, we got like 1,500 blockchain deployed through the platform. So what is the value proposition there? So basically, we combine three kind of like key components, like the experience of running the infrastructure, basically the core team, which is like very unique, the platform that allows you to automate everything, right, and to build this kind of like a puzzle blockchain, and then on top of that, we added blueprints of ready solution. Let's say you want to do supply chain management. The blockchain is the perfect application for supply chain management, right? So we have the system. We have like 80% code already written. So you can go there. We'll build the perfect blockchain for you, and then on top of that, we will deploy the supply chain management. The same we can do with luxury goods, for example, digital passports. So you have the watch, right, and you want to confirm that it's actually legit watch, right? So we have the code to execute it for you, right? So yeah, it's you could call it like a turnkey solution. Yeah, so like if you're in the industry, you know like some of these names. I'm not gonna spend like a lot of time here, but like Polygon, Dan mentioned Polygon, so we are one of our biggest partners. Some decentralized exchanges, wallets, trading platforms, Ethereum, staking providers, payment solutions, and so on. So what are the use cases of the private blockchain and why people actually need it, right? So yeah, I've tried to list like the most interesting, in my opinion. So it's like a loyalty program, right? Supply chain management, ticketing, for example, for this event, you can put everything on blockchain. Digital identity, right? So we have one project for European universities where the student ID is actually on chain, like, and all of the information about your grades, about your yeah, the master thesis and stuff, it's there, and like it's confirmable, like, and you cannot simply add it after you actually finish the university, right? So banking, gaming, AI, proof of humanity, payments, trading, but yeah, and of course metaverses. Like it's way more, but let me just like spend a little bit of time on like three my favorite use cases. It's like first one is proof of humanity. We all move into the era of AI, right? And sometimes it's like really hard to distinguish, is this video was actually recorded by the human being, like of the real event, or it was created by AI, right? So there are a couple of projects in the industry that use the private blockchain and the technology to actually generate the proofs that it actually was recorded by myself or by this camera, right? It's kind of like super cool, and like I'm very bullish on this technology. Another one, for example, payments. We work with the companies in developing countries, for example, like Argentina, where the inflation is like 200%, and people, once they get peso, they try to exchange the peso to US dollars in order not to lose money on the inflation, right? And the financial system, it's so slow, and the rules are so, yeah, not efficient, that sometimes you cannot simply just like buy dollars, like just go to the bank and buy dollars, right? So not the exposure to the inflation. You have to do it like in a black market, right? And the exchange rate might be not the best one, and you cannot get as much as you want. You cannot sell as fast as you want, right? So with the blockchain, you can allow people to buy stable coins that have the value of real dollars, right? And then instead of going to the exchanges and exchange it like physically, you can get the card, like Visa card. You go to the bar, you buy your beer, and then you exchange your dollars to peso in the moment when you actually pay for your beer. So yeah, it helps you people to save quite a lot of money. And then the next one, the cool, like in my opinion, is like a gaming and metaverses. We can combine them. So for example, just imagine that we have like a big company like Ubisoft, and they have like 200 games under their portfolio, right? So what they're thinking right now, like I've heard at least some ideas to kind of like launch the currency that would be, or some kind of like a coin, right? That would be a unified coin for all of the games underneath. So regardless if you play puzzles, shooting games, racing games, you can use one currency and like buy some stuff in the game. And these kind of like skins or powers or stuff that you buy in the game that are actually NFTs. So like, and they're assigned to your particular address. They're in blockchain. So you are in full control of the stuff that you own in the game, right? And if you're really like a big gamer that you spend like 8 hours per day playing the game, for you, the stuff in the game actually worth more than the t-shirt in real life, right? So for you, it's like actually very important to make sure that you have the proof that it's yours. So nobody can, even if you get banned from the game, you still keep your stuff there, right? So if something goes wrong with the server, you still can keep your stuff there. So it's kind of like, yeah, security. And also, why those kind of like companies move into the private blockchain? Because they can control the rules of the blockchain. And for example, if you want to sell your NFT there, regardless where you sell it, like either on official marketplaces in Steam or maybe just like a send to your friend, you will always kind of like pay some small transaction fee, and the company who produced the game will get this transaction fee. So for them, it's also beneficial. So for you as a user, it's cool, and like for the company, it's also cool. So that's why I said on the beginning that maybe a lot of you actually use the blockchain as a technology, but you just don't know because it involves like really a lot, right? And right now it's yeah, it's just like a convenient to use it, right? And like sometimes you don't know what is underneath. Yeah, so well, like all of these use cases, they're great, but you can ask the question like, okay, what's wrong with Ethereum? What's wrong with Bitcoin? What's wrong with Polygon as a blockchain? Why we cannot use them, right? So I try to do this kind of analogy, that compare public to private, and yeah. It's a little bit controversial, like not really true, but I think it's a exaggerated example, and it's good to think it that way. So the public blockchain is like a kind of like a public transport. It's fast, it's efficient. Sometimes it's cheaper, sometimes it's maybe a little bit more expensive than using the car. But if you need to get from point A exactly to point B, right? Sometimes you cannot do that like in a bus, right? Or sometimes it's not efficient because you have to do like different detours, right? And it's better to use the private one. Also, if you want to talk privately in the bus, probably it's not a good idea. So better to use the private car for that. Also, the private car, you can get the one that you actually need, right? So for example, if you do the off-road, you can get the specialized car for that. If you want to speed, you can get the fast car for that, right? Yeah, it might cost more, but you get what you paid for. And yeah, and also you have additional control. So for example, if you're the government that want to use, for example, CBDC, this digital currency, right? And you probably want to make sure that the all infrastructure are hosted on specific data centers that have some certification, that been audited and so on, and maybe in one country, right? So you don't want the infrastructure that hosts Norwegian krona to be hosted in China, let's say, right? Or I don't know, in Iran, I don't know. So like you have this kind of extra control of where the actual blockchain is kind of located. So why do we need ZK then? Like ZK is like stands for zero of knowledge, and basically this technology allows you to prove something is true without revealing the information what is inside, right? So I like the example of envelope from with like a royal seal, right? So you don't actually need to open the envelope and to see the letter and the signature of the king to understand that it's actually coming from king. You just like can check the seal, right? The royal seal, and okay, this is coming from the king. So that's zero of knowledge. Without knowing what is inside the envelope, I can prove that something is true. It's like very simplified example. The mathematics there is just crazy, but it's good to understand, right? So why do you need it for the private blockchain? As you are the owner of the blockchain, like and all of the infrastructure, why do I need to trust you? How I can trust you that you are as an owner, as a manager, don't put like some weird stuff there. You don't assign I don't know, a couple of $millions to your wallet or prevent double spending. And this is actually why ZK is like helpful, because you can generate zero of knowledge proofs of all of the transactions that happen on your private blockchain. Like here it's called the ZK rollup. and kind of like a proof that you actually follow the rule of the game without revealing what are the transactions, right? So without revealing any information, you can prove that, okay, I've done everything okay, because the validators of the chain where you do the settlement, like in this case Ethereum, is actually validated your proofs, and everything is legit. So it is mathematically impossible to generate zero-knowledge proof, so the validators will validate it unless it follows the rules of the game. Right? So it's like a cool technology that allows you to kind of to prove everybody that you're doing the right stuff. And also by having that, you can, if something goes wrong with the private blockchain, you can easily recover the network, which is also cool. So you have, for example, you have some money on the private blockchain, and I'm, as an owner, I just decided to stop the blockchain. So theoretically, you can just recover the network, get the transaction, generate the proof, submit it to the Ethereum, and then get your money back. So it's like an extra layer of security. A little bit of alpha about the future of blockchain and some narratives that we see in the market. I would say that right now the hottest topics in the industry, it's the combination of AI plus blockchain, the combination of zero-knowledge technology, or also like one more thing is fully okay, forgot about it. And then the private blockchain. So, and we as a company, we operate like under like those two blurbs. And AI is coming, and it's going to be there's like thousands projects like in the next year, like related to AI. They're already building, right? So they will release their tokens or technology, whatever. Okay, how do we see the Ethereum and Bitcoin? Because like you all know, those are like old, they're reliable, they're decentralized, but it's extremely expensive to transact, right? So it's really bad to use Ethereum as a kind of like a method for paying for something, because like it is slow. You cannot like I think the TPS, like transaction per second of Ethereum, is like a 30, right? Compared to Visa, which is like I don't know, 60,000, right? It's not even comparable, but it is good in a way to be as a kind of like a settlement layer, because you have a lot of money locked there. It is decentralized. It is validated by millions and millions of people. So you can have it as a kind of like a final step for those kind of like private blockchains where all of the transactions happening like privately, and then the final state are getting like settled to the layer one, to Ethereum, right? And the same you can do with the Bitcoin. So that's how I see the market will move. And also a little bit of alpha about like a cost of running blockchain. So if you wanted to get the private blockchain 2 years ago, or maybe even more, maybe like 5 years ago, it would cost you around like $2 million per year to run it, because the technology was not there, and it was like a one company Hyperledger that allowed you to do that. Right now we are here. So just to get your private chain, it is like super easy, and on average I would say like it's like $150K per year. The testnet, you can get it actually for free. So on our website, you can go there. You have this kind of like a builder of the blockchains. You can deploy your testnet within just a couple of minutes and try to play around. What we expect is going to happen in the future is that the cost of running blockchain will actually decrease dramatically. Probably next year, it's going to be maybe like a 10K. And and like we are moving to the world of disposable blockchain, disposable rollups, basically. Meaning that, for example, you have this event and you want to generate the proofs that you actually been on this event. So you can like deploy your like a small blockchain, put the ticket in there, put the proofs that you've been here, and then you can do the settlement to the Ethereum, right? To confirm that all the transactions are there, and then just like delete it, right? So that's what we think will happen. So the world of millions chains and disposable rollups meaning the blockchains. Would be happy to answer any questions if you have, and thank you so much. Either it was like too boring or too good.
How long is your company exist, and how many real examples you deployed so far?
Yeah, so the company been around a little bit more than 3 years, and in terms of like a real examples, we built a Visa card connected to the non-custodial wallet to basically, so you can use your, I don't know, like crypto to buy stuff in the convenience store. That could be one example. Another one that we have the project related to carbon credits. So we build the whole system of managing carbon credits for Web2. And yeah, so far we have 1,500 blockchains deployed through the platform, which is quite a lot. And I would say around like a 20, maybe a little bit more, like a big enterprise customers, right? So they're doing some loyalty programs, games, tournaments, proof of humanity stuff, some kind of like oracles and trading and stuff like that.
Got it. What you see as your biggest challenge?
Okay, so yeah, I think it's actually related to this slide because what we do, we deploy the blockchain for the customers, and we are earning this kind of a nice chunk of money. In 1 year, it's going to be here, right? In the 2 years, it's going to be here. So the challenge is to find a way, how do you monetize it, right? How do you kind of like add extra value to the customer, right? Because the technology is evolving so fast, it's getting cheaper, right? And with AI, it's going to be even more faster and more cheaper. So the challenge here is to find a proper business model, how to operate the service. But the good thing for the end user, because of all the competition and stuff, yeah, it's going to be super easy. It's going to be just as easy as right now. I know, just like a build website, right? So there are a lot of constructors. You can go there, just like do a couple of clicks. You can do it through Google. So for the end user, it's going to be better, but for the companies like us, we would need to find a way to monetize it better. Yeah.
So what you explained, to me it sounded like this business would be something like a blockchain as a service. Right. So as an end customer, I do not need to know about the technicality of the blockchain. I just get my job done.
Yeah.
So on what parameters are they being billed? So is it like transaction based, or is it like number of hours or number of tokens? On what basis would you be billing them?
Yeah, so indeed, right now it is like super simple, right? You don't need to know the code. You don't need to know Solidity to deploy the blockchain. You go to the platform, you do a couple of clicks, and then boom, in like 10 minutes you have your blockchain. So the performance of the chain actually depends on the amount of the transaction that you want to put through the chain and the redundancy of the chain. So you can deploy it like theoretically, you can deploy a blockchain on like a one server, right? It's not going to be a network, right? Because like it's one server, but it will operate as a blockchain. The question is like, how much redundancy do you want? Like, do you want to put it like in different regions to be as close to your user as possible? Do you want the blockchain to be able to process and like 1,000 transactions per second, or 100 transactions per second, or maybe 3 transactions per second? How much information you want to store in like every particular block? What is the time between blocks? What kind of third-party tooling you would need? For example, maybe you want to put some, I don't know, some marketplace on top of that, or wallet, or digital identity, right? So also the use case is like very important. Do you want to make it public or private, or semi-private, semi-public, right? So that's kind of like the whole list of customizations, and yeah, that's like a very, yeah, as I said, like very customizable product. And but I would say redundancy is like the most important, like in terms of the price, and yeah, and then the throughput. Like the more throughput, the faster the chain, the more expensive it is. And another thing that affects the cost is security. If you want to store all of the information in Ethereum, if you want to do the settlement of all of the information, transaction information and zk proof to Ethereum, it's going to cost you like quite a lot. if you are ready to sacrifice a little bit security and get some transactional information off-chain to some third-party services or kind of store it locally, then it's going to be cheaper. That's actually a very good question, and I wish I wish more people try to, like, at least our customers try to understand this part. Yeah.
I would like to know that what is your target customers and what are the strategies that you can achieve more in the future? For example, 1 year or 3 years or 5 years.
Yeah, that's thank you so much. So right now we see that the majority of the customers are coming from game industry. So this example that I said, like, because of the metaverses, because of the the games are becoming like more realistic and people are living their life in the games, right? And they want to secure that they own assets. Like, what is blockchain? Like, in a nutshell, it's just like a huge database which is decentralized, very redundant. So everywhere where you can use database, you can theoretically use blockchain, and it would be like easier for you to manage. So we have we target customers that they do payments, right? So for example, interbank payments, or like Visa card, like, and digital banks. It's just like a perfect application for them. Also, supply chain management, where you store all of the data on the blockchain, like in different parts of the world, so we can make it redundant. You can make it private if you want to, like another, like a very cool application. Yeah, so those kind of like the areas where we are trying to be active and kind of like target users, and we see that we can bring actually a little bit more value that our competitors and the existing, like, current solutions on the market. How do we see ourselves in a year? Yeah, we're gonna move to kind of provide like a more value with like a third-party services on top of the blockchain. Yeah, as I indicated in the beginning of the presentation, we basically combine the experience that we have with the infrastructure, the platform that allows you to build like very easy, and then on top of that, the services that you can actually kind of like adopt, right? So if you're coming to us and say like, okay, I have the idea, I want to do I don't know, a tournament, right? For I don't know, poker tournament, but I want everything to be transparent and I want people to believe me, so that's why I want to put it on blockchain, and I want to use some stable coins, right? So everybody can actually, regardless where you are, either in Myanmar or in Argentina or like in US, so you can actually get the ticket to the tournament and like start participating, right? Because you can buy crypto like anywhere in the world. So we will provide you the best solution in terms of the blockchain, and then we're also going to build the service on top of that, right? So that they're going to use your blockchain. So it's kind of like we see ourselves as a company that will provide kind of like a turnkey solution for you. Just like tell us your problem, tell what you want to do, and then we will come up with the architecture and the execution. Thank you so much.
I've got one extra technical question. Is that only Ethereum, or are you looking into something else?
Yeah, maybe I will be punished because I'm gonna share this information. But yeah, indeed, we are looking for something else. And right now we use Ethereum because like it is most decentralized. We have Gnosis chain as kind of a settlement layer. We are also looking into the Cosmos ecosystem, Polkadot, Optimism, Polygon, like all of these guys. And like we are very bullish on zk-AVM stuff in particular. So also kind of looking in that direction. But yeah, more will come in near future, probably in like one or 2 months. It's very close.
So we need to wait for the updates.
Yeah, ideally.
Cool. Any more questions?
Yeah, thank you so much. Pleasure be here. Yeah, thank you.
How do you guys feel? Do you want 2 5-minute pause, or do you want to continue non-stop? Who is for the pause? 1, 2. Who is for continuing non-stop? Nobody. Oh, one. Okay. So let's make that super short. Like, let's say, 5 minutes, okay? And then we continue. Yes, guys, we are doing the small pause. In 5 minutes, we're going to continue. I think it's a little bit dark, maybe. If you want some water, there is water in the end of the hall. There.
Давай, может, накрутим.
Да, надо что-то со светом сделать, очень странно.
У нас еще проблема. Надо камеру переместить, потому что засвечивается экран.
Я знаю, я в курсе, я пытался под это, я уже сделал потемнее.
Mine is dark, so probably it will not be a problem.
I
'Cause it's too
oh
bright.
yeah, actually, it is good because it's less
Yeah.
delta between. Can I put it here?
Yes,
or
yeah, whatever
I
is
think here
probably.
is,
True.
On the paper, right? In the business. But like you said that they were like so successful that right now they're this system is actually kind of just pushing away the old kind of paper one, or no? It's pushing away some. Yeah. Actually, used to watch a lot with Brazilian market, with mobile operators. There are Claro, Oi, Mobile, and also with the digital bank, Inter, if I'm not mistaken, the name. Yeah. So like we deployed mobile games for Inter, like inside the digital bank, just to keep users inside. So it was like premium games, so you can go to the app of the bank and just play and get some points. So,
Candy Crush, no, Becky Crush.
yeah. This is interesting. Yeah. It was like around like 3 years ago, but I think it didn't work out really. Like we,
The digital banks actually started to make marketplaces.
Oh, yeah.
Could be interesting in the future very much. There's this German bank, maybe you can see.
prepared, I see.
Yeah, I put it to record so I can watch it afterwards.
Yeah, there will
Yeah.
be recording on YouTube and
Yeah.
in my
Oh.
computer as well. So we have
Okay.
2 recordings
Okay.
plus yours.
Yeah, just to have also from this angle, and I like to watch it after to see how it's
Yeah,
going. So it's yeah, but that's amazing that there is proper recording because mine is obviously it's more for like running purposes.
Yeah, these are.
something.
This is my friends from. They are located in this building, and they
Yeah.
just gave me the equipment.
Oh,
So the
amazing.
laptops are mine, and the video is theirs.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Okay, we can slowly gather back.
security, because for you to cheat, right, you have to convince like thousands or million validations in Ethereum. And so, yeah, you can be hacked. It's like, yeah, it's like a top level of security.
Where's your name on the main slide?
Oh, sorry.
Where's your name on the main slide? There's no your
Oh,
I forgot your
that's
name.
true.
Yeah, I just like there's something. It looks like it's
That's
not the
true.
first, it's like a second.
That's so true. I have it later on,
Yeah,
introduction.
it's fine.
But
I'll give them much information.
yeah, just yes, that's so true. I forgot it. I always
You
forget
want
to
me
bring
announce
myself.
you as Sooo Magazine or something else?
I think from the. Yeah, I don't know.
Because I wrote somewhere in the notes that you're from Sooo Magazine, so if,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can introduce me
Yeah.
like this. Yeah.
you can
That's
just
good.
add on top.
Yes.
whatever you want.
Yeah. That sounds great.
Okay. Everybody's ready? So let's see if there's any questions from the chat. No? All right. Then welcome, Teddy.
Thank you.
We've known each other for quite a while and
Yeah.
did some events together, and I'm really glad to see you here. And there's a clicker here. And
Yes.
yeah.
So this is from the. Okay.
So
Hi everyone, my name is Teddy and it is a pleasure. I will try to speak loud. My voice is not very strong, but I will do my best. And if you don't hear me, please just give me a sign and I will do my effort to make it a bit louder. So today we're going to talk about closing the gender gap in tech and how this can help us to create a more sustainable future for everyone. So obviously we're going to talk about women in tech, and bringing this topic, I would like to ask you first, do you know how many are the women in tech in the Nordics as a percentage? Any guess? 15? Okay. 36? Oh, that's quite optimistic. Okay, it's something in the middle actually. 26%. How about the representation of women in boards in the tech companies in the Nordics? 10? 10? Okay. 8? 14%. Okay. So it seems that the data is actually seems a bit optimistic, and the work we've been doing with the women in tech organizations has been delivering some results. And actually this number will be improved in the upcoming years because it was voted a new policy that there is a certain amount of percentage of women that has to be in each board of the companies. So we will see even more improvement. How about the percentage of investment that is going to female-founded companies in tech? 1? 5. Okay. 2%. Again, in the middle. So obviously there we have a lot of work to do. And of course, this is percentages that are overall overview and depends on the different areas of tech. There is increase, there is also places where it's much lower. But we still have a lot of work to do if we want to close the gender gap in tech. And I will be happy to bring the ways how we can do it and why it is so important. But first, I'll make a brief introduction of myself. So I'm a co-founder of Sooo, which is a global digital media about sustainability. We have a digital magazine that is read in over 40 countries, also a global community in the space of sustainability with audio events with over 4,000 members. And I'm also a board member at the Nordic Women in Tech Awards, which I will be mentioning a little bit later. Founding and board member at the European Female Founders organization that was initiated in Brussels from the European Commission and the Commissioner Maria Gabriel 2 years ago. And I'm also ambassador for the Women Tech Global Network, which is on a mission to bring together 1 million women in tech. So obviously, I'm very passionate about bringing women in tech. And now let's discuss a little bit why it is important and why everybody should care to bridge this gender gap in tech. Bringing more women supports the work of development in tech. Women can bring skills, they can bring different angles that can contribute to the process of innovation and growth. This is very beneficial for the companies that perform much better financially. Also, they are having economic growth and expansion. It is also really good for the product development process because women can support creating more inclusive and relevant products. Some of you probably remember a couple of years ago there was situations with AI that was quite biased because it was developed mostly from white men, and then the AI was biased towards women and also people in color. That's one example that is very well known. So that's why we need to have this diversity when we develop new tech products. And that's, of course, important for the companies. Bringing more women can be also very beneficial for the society because this opens opportunity for women which are often a suffering group, especially in places where there is conflict, where there is climate crisis impact, where there is different type of economic challenges. So when we bring more women in tech, we can support the families, we can help the society to be healthier and more equal. And we come to the last part of the benefits for having more women in tech, which is my favorite one, and I think it's very important for the future of all of us, is that women can really contribute to the process of innovation and also achieving the sustainable development goals. I will show you one picture now and ask you, do you know who is this? Sophia, yes, that's right. She is the first robot that was granted citizenship in Saudi Arabia. And I managed to meet her 5 years ago in 2019. That time, AI was circulating a lot in the tech space as a topic. Obviously, there were some developments, but it was really far from where it is today. And I remember Sophia when she was on the stage, and obviously she was a start on the conference. She was answering different questions and sounds almost a little bit silly, so people were laughing and kind of joking with her and not taking it serious. Well, now we are living in times where AI is taking a very big and important part of our lives. It is already part of our lives, and it will play a very important role of the future, together with all other emerging technologies like VR, the quantum computing is also coming, and other tech which I don't want to talk too much, probably you're more familiar with all these great developments that are happening. So we live in a very exciting times when technologies are opening opportunities, and we live in developing process of technologies that we haven't never experienced in the past. So we will see a future that will be completely different in a couple of years. And in one side, we have technologies that are developing and bringing a lot of great opportunities. And on the other side, we also have our beautiful planet, which is experiencing a lot of challenges. So last year, in 2023, it was announced that we already have crossed 6 of the 9 planetary boundaries. The planetary boundaries are the elements and ecosystems that are vital for the survival on the planet, that are really important for all of us. And we already have crossed 9 of them. Climate change, of course, is the most known and most discussed one. But we also have already big challenges with the biodiversity, even with water, with pollution. So we all need to be very aware of what is going on with the planet and what this will bring to all of us. Knowing that, we also have a great opportunity to have technologies helping us to overcome the challenges. So if we manage to bring together technologies for serving and overcoming these challenges, we can really develop a better future. And as I mentioned earlier, women can be very supportive in the process of innovation. So bringing more women, we can create solutions and be creative in a way that can help us create more sustainable future. Not to mention that women are also more empathic, and they are somehow having this intention for like more nourishing and developments that can be good for humanity and also for the planet. So onboarding more women can help us to really consider more strongly as well the environment and the society. So I hope you agree already with me that it is good for all of us to have more women in the tech industry. But still we have a lot of challenges, and even though the percentages are increasing, we still have a lot of work to do to overcome the gender gap. We still have problems with when it comes to stereotypes, with also opportunities for women, how women feel in the workspace. That's some of the challenges that are presented. And we can actually have a whole discussion and whole speech about the challenges. But my intention today is actually to talk about the solution and how we all can do something to overcome the gender gap. So I'll present 5 main actions, main things that can be done, and I hope that at least one, maybe, will be helpful for you and you will start to implement it. A couple of weeks ago, we had a great event here at Rebel, a round table with representation from the tech industry. And during this round table, we were mapping up what are the main challenges of bringing more women in tech, and also what we can do as activities to overcome these challenges. And the first thing that came over and over was really education and bringing more women from early stage. The data shows that not so many of the young students from female gender are really motivated to enter the tech industry. So we need to really do an effort to introduce technologies to the young girls so they get interested and inspired to enter the industry and develop in it. So if you have a company yourself, you could, for example, develop a program to have a one-day initiative when you bring a student to experience what it's like to work in the tech company. So you can have visits from young girls, and this may be really changing their lives and also support the process of overcoming the gender gap. If you have also girls and if you have daughters, this can be thing that you could also contribute with talking about tech, bringing the different aspects of tech, and also inspiring them. One of the best allies actually we have in our communities are men that have daughters, and they want to have their daughters in a world where they have equal opportunities and better future. Another thing is also important is to rescue actually and to support women to create programs where women can develop tech skills. Even if they already have kids, they have other professions, because obviously they can bring a lot of on the table with also experience from previous industries, and they can be valuable for the companies. So let's move to the next point. Creating a culture that is inclusive and also welcoming. So it's not important just to educate women and to build this talent, but also to make it stay in tech. I've been talking with women that unfortunately have left the tech industry because they didn't feel belonging to tech. And yeah, often if you ask a woman, what is it like to be in tech? The answer will be lonely. Even yesterday, I was actually at the data security forum, and I spoke with this lady. She said she's most of the time the only woman in the room. And sometimes can be challenging. Yes, she said you have to have a certain personality to survive, basically. So we can all do something for that. We can create a space that can feel more inclusive, that can feel more welcoming for these women, and we can invite them for drinks, for example, go and have a conversation, be welcoming in a way that is really making them feel belonging to the team and to the company and to the tech industry. And that's something what we all can do. Doesn't take much, but it's just intention and really a little effort. And we're moving to my favorite point, because I've been suffering myself a lot from that. Stereotypes and bias. I made an example which is probably quite extreme, because not all the women in tech look like supermodels, and in fact that's one of the supermodels, Kyrie Kloss. She is Victoria's Secret model. She's very beautiful, tall lady. I met her actually a couple of years in one event, and at first when you see her, of course you wouldn't guess that she actually has tech skills, and she has education in tech. And she's very passionate about it. She's also educating young women in the tech industry. So there is something in our underconscious that is rooted and that makes us putting people in boxes. And that really doesn't allow us to open all the opportunities and disables actually the chance to onboard valuable people. So we need to be very conscious also, judging people by their look, appearance, by their color, by their gender, because it is important what people can actually do. And until we know their skills, we don't know. So let's be a little bit more conscious and try to think away from this boxing and stereotyping way which we have rooted deeply in us. And this is not just men, it's actually women. Women, we do it underconsciously as well. So we need to be just more careful with that and not really judge the person before we have the knowledge about it. And the fourth point is probably something what you wouldn't be surprised, because I already mentioned that women, they have the tendency to be passionate about impact. And I was actually at a conference 4 years ago, and it was in the space of investment. And obviously, we saw the percentage when it comes to investment. The percentage is extremely low. But there was this VC investor on stage which was talking that he actually has a really high percentage of investment in women or women-founded companies, but that's social impact companies. So there is somehow a drive of women to make positive impact, and presenting the tech industry as a way to make change can also attract and inspire women. I had actually a colleague from previous organization I was working, which joined the tech industry because she wanted to do good and she saw the potential. So this is something what in conversations we can bring and show some examples. And here we're moving to one of my favorite points as well, role models. Because we live in times where we see a lot of idols, if I can say, or role models. Like we know all about Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, about Mark Zuckerberg. Of course, they all have developed great achievements. But we don't hear so much about the female achievements. And when we've been having like a round table and conversations how to bring more women in tech, this aspect has been coming very often as well, that we're missing role models. We don't have somebody to look to and to get inspired from. So that's why it is important to highlight the achievements of women as well, to be conscious and to support initiatives that are also working towards bringing more women in the spotlight. So when we talk about the role models, there is a great organization called the Nordic Women in Tech Awards that has the mission to create role models and bring together community from the Nordics to celebrate the achievements of women. And this year, actually, the Nordic Women in Tech Awards is going to be hosted in Oslo, here in Norway, for first time. So I want to invite you also, if you do one thing from this event, this takes like 2 minutes, you can nominate someone, because now the nominations are open. The actual event is going to be in November, so you will probably hear about it in the upcoming months, and of course you will be invited to join there, because one thing that is really important, we don't want to overcome this gender gap, and we cannot overcome the gender gap just having women coming together. We need men also in this process, and it's really wonderful to see this also a lot of men here in the space when I can talk about women in tech, because allies are so crucial. We cannot do this movement just by ourselves. We need men on our side to also support and understand the importance of it. And we're here not sometimes, I feel like men can be threatened, somehow feel like this urge of having more women in tech. But in reality, we don't want to take nobody's space. We just want to join and be together in this industry so we can really create a more sustainable future for everyone. Because now we live in these exciting times where we can really create the future we dream for that can be bright for everyone, or we can go in a direction that can be quite challenging. So let's take the right path. Let's overcome the gender gap and create sustainable and flourishing future for all of us. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Teddy. That
Thank
was an
you.
awesome speech.
Thank you.
And yes, actually, you know, I have a personal example with my mother. She also was having a similar ideas in her mind when she created Steering Lady magazine that she made. Basically, she was an editor, and she published it for 15 years because that was a problem back then in Russia, that there was not a lot of women on the roads, and it was like biased. So the same problem in a different country, in a different location, but almost the same problem. So I totally understand, and I totally agree with that. And as myself interested in tech and been to all the companies, and I definitely would say that it is a challenge, it is a problem, but it is a much improving now in Scandinavia, because last time I was in Pakistan forum, and I talked to guys there, and I just checked the attendance list, and it was 170 men, 2 women. So I feel there are some countries that actually need this even more. So maybe we should travel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyways,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And
your
just to
speech.
mention that we're planning future initiatives with women in tech. Here we will have more roundtables. So if anyone is interested, yeah, just let me know. I would love to talk to you, or if you have some questions. Great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely,
Thank you. Thank you
absolutely.
so much.
Please
With
stay for
pleasure.
the networking.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. So, not to take much more time, I will go on to my last speech that I made. Hopefully, it will be quite quick and entertaining. Let me just fix the camera angle a little bit, and then change the presentation, and we'll proceed from there. Yes. So back a little bit to crypto, and the same topic that I already announced in the beginning, right? So I still feel that there is a lot of need in marketing for the open source software. And actually, the topics are very much correlated, crypto and open source, right? So I'm gonna talk a little bit about how you can use both of them in your daily life, and how it actually can help you to improve and just to develop yourself. So let's begin with a story, all right? That is amount of money my friend, one of my great friends from my school actually, invested in Ethereum back then in 2015. At that time, it was about 14,000 Ethereum. And but that's not going to be like about crypto. That's not going to be so much about crypto. I'm going to begin from a little bit different angle. Could you guess how much is it today?
7 million.
Good guess. Any other? 7 million, 10 million. One more? No. Oh, okay. It's actually. Do you think it would be enough to buy this castle? It is enough. It is enough, and actually, it is enough to buy 16 of these castles. 16 of these castles. No, he haven't bought it, unfortunately. So this is the amount, and actually, you can buy a castle for about £3 million if you buy it in England. So you can buy about 16 castles, and basically, my friend doesn't have 56 million. Otherwise, I would ask him to come and to get us like a building or two in Oslo to make our meetups. But no, he didn't get this money. And the reason for that was this. So basically, he got all his crypto stored in somewhere, in his Windows machine. And also he's a gamer, so he played quite a couple of games, and maybe he installed something or whatever. But at some point he found that all his Ethereum, it was actually not that exact amount of tokens, but all of his Ethereum and then later the tokens were gone somewhere else. Yes, and we can of course talk about Windows and say it is popular on the desktop, yeah, but that's probably the only thing about it. The rest is all negative, at least from my standpoint of view. I'd say it's pretty vulnerable, as you can just see this example with the interesting sample. It's quite easy to hack it, and you can just check up Metasploit or ExploitDB to see the ways in. And basically, if you're going to save your funds on Windows machine or a non-secure phone, this story might repeat with you, and you might have even more than 56 million US stolen. You know, yeah, even if at that time it was much less, but still it could be stolen pretty easily. This slide, if you've been to my previous presentation, you've already seen, but I'm not going to talk today about misconceptions. Instead, I decided to reverse it. And that's where you can get the first presentation if you want to see the files, or you can also watch the stream from our first event. And it will be always there, so you can remember it, itme.top/presentations. All of these presentations also will be there, at least the ones that we are allowed to place there. So why could a person want to use Linux, right? So of course, the security concerns, the scalability concerns, actually the comfort concerns as well. As me personally struggling to work with Mac, I try to work with Mac and with Windows, and I struggle so much because I moved to Linux in about 2007, 2008. And since then, I never returned. And right now, I would say that actually most of main distros out there are so much more convenient for normal users, for medium users, and also for professional users. There are other distros that they can use. So basically, you can choose the peel, right? Not only the blue or red, but all sort of colors. So there's over 1,000 of them. So it is really like a whole new area, a whole new topic that I think it's worth a separate discussion, basically. So right now, it's getting popularity, so it's getting better. It's getting a little bit better. People are getting educated. And of course, if you want to educate somebody and to use open source software, you should definitely do. But interestingly, it's very weak thing. People are just sticking to what they are given with the equipment, even though it's a concept from before, and we're overcome this concept, and we don't need to tie hardware with software anymore. So we can pay for any hardware and put any software on it. But we just don't do that. We just don't bother. And it is kind of sad, because to drive a car, you need a license, right? But to use a computer, you don't need to educate yourself. It doesn't make sense in my mind. So I think we should educate at least a little bit, learn what Linux is, find out that it's actually easier and nicer and simpler and beautifuler and whatever you want to, depending, of course, what you choose. But there are a lot of nice things. And then, of course, I already talked about the choice. I'd say there are more stuff on Linux now than on any other platform, much more. And if there's something not enough, you can always use emulation, virtualization, and compatibility layers and stuff like that. And it is actually used a lot in everywhere. It's already, it's in business. For instance, I started working in MasterCard, and it's like it's the same dualistic problem. While I don't know, I have not checked yet, but I assume 90 to 95% of the servers and the backend are all Linux-based machines, and they are all run on the different cloud solutions and whatnot. But we do work you can choose from Windows or Mac. And I am struggling to get my environment to work for 3 weeks so far. So it's not too long, so maybe it's going to be fixed. But I'm like super surprised to see that. And it's not a MasterCard problem, for reals, because I've been working for 2-3 other companies before here in Norway. The same problem every time I come. Where is my environment? It is on the back end, but I want to use it as a client-side tool, right? And it's non-existent. There's no manuals. There's nothing. You may find a way sometimes, but it takes time, and it takes why? It's actually more compatible. So there's a lot of questions to business side, and I think they're also biased towards Microsoft and Apple because they get a lot of money from them. They interact on a monetary basis, so it makes sense in that regards. But I'm really hoping that more money will influx into open source, and we'll see better solutions developed in our markets and better support. Actually, yes, I had a lot of experience when open source solution that has no paid support is much better than the solution that you pay $1 million every month. I've got this is not one time, this situation, I got multiple times this situation. So when you go to a company, we have this issue, they just ignore you if you pay them. If you don't pay them, you post on a forum. Yes, you have to wait a day or two, but some main developer will come and say, it's not my area of expertise, but here is the fix. That's usually what happened to me. And if it doesn't happen this way, you go to IRC, you go to different channels, and you talk to people, and they help you. That's what happens in open source. In proprietary stuff, never happened to me. Although I was expecting it to happen more frequently in proprietary world, but it never happened to me. Yeah, so actually open source is not only about hardware, right? It's also like much more than that. It's not only about software, it's not only about hardware. It's ideology, basically. It's a movement and it's a framework, and it's a movement and framework that I would like to implement, and I would like you to implement more in your daily lives. And it's actually so much easier. But let's stop talking about Linux. Let's go back to crypto topic. And basically, let's think about it. When we are thinking to research, to do a research or to find out about a new crypto project, what do? We do our due diligence and we check a couple of these bullet points, right? This is like just a basic idea that is people usually should do, right? They read white paper, or they at least check that it is there, that it exists, right? They check the team background. The same, you can look at these steps are as the same for investors, right? If investor gonna join your startup, what they gonna do? This list of things, mostly. They might have a different points, but most of these, they will check these points, especially the first point, right? So these are about crypto projects, how we check them. So of course, let's now speak about open source. What do you do if you want to find out if the open source project is good? Well, you have almost the same list. You just replace white paper with the documentation of the project, and here you go. And instead of white paper, it's actually much more navigatable because it has pages and references and examples. So it might be, it depends, but usually it is better than white paper. So it looks like it's the same list, right? So if we put them side by side, it's like it's almost the same. So that make me think like the natures of these two worlds are similar. And yeah, so they are so aligned actually in the principles of transparency and collaboration and decentralization are in both sets of these subjects, right? So projects actually should encourage more community participation, peer review, and innovations. And this is a quote from a famous philosopher that you can see on the screen. So yes, to be trusted, any good crypto project has to be open source. That's like, I don't know, that's like for me it's like a theory that you don't need to check how it's called in mathematics, that the axiom, thank you, yes, axiom. That's like axiom. So if we speak about statistics, and I did a little bit of that before, but I'm gonna do it again. So about 99% of software products, regardless of their endpoint sales or non-sales, like paid or non-paid, rely on open source software. Somebody following the licensing, trying to take the license that allows you to sell the software. Somebody just ignores and takes the open source licenses, ignoring their viral nature, and that you can actually not do that with all of the like open source licensing. But anyways, 99% of all companies rely, and all software projects rely on open source components. And usually what does it mean? Does it mean one component, two components? No. It's usually 70, 80, or 90% open source components. So it's basically almost everything about business's backend are open source anyway. Sometimes they try to hide it, but in crypto, it's usually the thing that people show because they want to show that they are transparent, that you can check everything. There are some reports that open source, yeah, there's basically like different approaches to calculations, and you get numbers from like 90 to 99. But anyway, the market is there. And the same we can estimate about open source crypto. So it's about 96 to 99% of the market. Yeah, so I'll just gonna make this thought sink in your mind, and gonna like keep it there. And if you consider next time talking to someone and asking, are you open source? Are you considering open sourcing? What do you use? And do that. Talk to people, ask them questions. And if you have your own product development, maybe consider doing it as open source, or at least do the most of the development that you can open source in the open source way, right? So I'm gonna make a little bit of sidetrack here and talk about this project because it is right now ongoing. So you just know, maybe somebody forgot. So there's been a Starknet airdrop happening right now. So if you are on GitHub, how many of you are on GitHub? Oh, okay, half, more than half. Okay, so then if you don't know about it, you should definitely check it out. Because if you're having a GitHub account for several years and you have been doing several activities on GitHub, actually Starknet gives a great airdrop that I just received like a couple of days ago. And this isn't the list. Actually, you don't have to be in GitHub. If you're a Starknet developer, you also get this. But if you're not, then you are in this last point in here. So you'll have to be one of, you have to commit it to one of top 5,000 repositories worldwide, like this. But it is a high chance that you commit it, actually. If you commit it to any open source project, it's a high chance you're there. And that should happen before November 15, 2023. And basically, you have to have at least a couple of commits. And then if you do that, and if you go to the Starknet website, I think they are sending about average of 2,000 Starknet coins, which at the time is about $4,000. So if you want to get this money, and if you have a GitHub account, don't forget to do that, because it's going to last for until mid-summer, I think. So it seems like a lot, but people just forget that stuff. I forgot many airdrops myself. Yes, so key takeaways. It's rather short presentation, so let's just sum it up. So you should use crypto wherever you can, however you can, most of the time. You should use Linux, or you shouldn't actually stick to Linux. You should stick to open source. So BSD, Solaris, or Open Indiana, you know, whatever, Colibri, Menuet, whatever you want to use, just use it. Use open source, commit to open source, join this, and it will help you back, as I just shown with the example of the Starknet, for instance. Do due diligence about both crypto and about open source. Do that all the time. Communicate, network, collaborate. Join our meetups where you can do that efficiently. And returning to the point that I give a speech already a little bit on the first presentation, if you're enjoying our events or not, if you're not enjoying our events, you should go there and write about it, like, oh no, it was so annoying. There was no sound in the room and I couldn't hear anything. Yeah, so do that, and or maybe write something nice. That would be super great. And also you will get SBT token there that you could put to your wallet to remember this event. And we plan to continue collaborate with our friends from different projects to give you something for participation, so you have a memories of it. And you can return back to the presentations, to the stories, to the videos that we have, and maybe have some thoughts, or maybe share it with your friend who is like, oh, what is open source? Like, oh, why would I use it? No, like, yeah, you know, maybe to convince him if that works. That would be great. Some extra links here. I just found this recently, actually, Best of Crypto. Very, very nice list that like includes, it is also a GitHub list that includes a lot of nice projects. Again, I'm going to share the slide deck so you can go through each of these yourself. There is a couple of relations to the open source developments. And yeah, these are all awesome stuff. Thank you for your attention. Yes, we don't have any questions from the stream, strangely, even though we have quite some audience, 5 to 7 people. And I don't know why they're so silent, guys. Maybe you want to give some questions. Do you guys have any questions? Yes.
Yeah, I read a report from A16Z, the investor in crypto, that actually the number of open source libraries has dropped like 30% during the last year. And yeah, the reason for that being the bear market, and people are need to make money, right, during the bear market. Do you think the trend will continue, or do you really believe in open source project, and like once like the market will get back, the more project will open source their code?
Yes, thanks for the question. I think this is, first of all, there's two sides of this to this question. First side is that I think this is a temporary thing, and it's like fluctuating. You can never tell, like its market is dynamic, right? And libraries, oh my God, libraries is so dynamic, especially if we're speaking about Ethereum stuff and JavaScript stuff. This is like enormous. You probably know if you worked. Who is a developer in the room? So is there any developers? Yeah, so yeah, sort of. Yeah. So you should know that stuff, right? Do you agree with me?
Yeah, with JavaScript, yes.
Yes, that's thing. So, and the other thing is actually, even if the open source number of library and software drops, it doesn't really mean that it dropped. It means that the measure, that somebody changed the licensing and they changed the measure, but underlying code of most of these projects, do you think they rewrote 30% of their code in like a year? They have probably not changed anything in this code, or maybe one couple of rows. So what is really happening is that people are taking open source product with maybe MIT licensing, if it's done well, and then making it proprietary. Or they're taking GPL licensed product and doing a really bad thing by making it proprietary. And you can actually get, I think you can get a court order nowadays by doing that. So be careful if you're developing software. If you're going to use GPL stuff, either keep it GPL or don't use GPL stuff. Use MIT if you want to make a commercial product. But that's like a question for lawyers probably. So I think this is, I don't actually know why it happens. And I think it's temporary. And I think that's like not realistic display of what is inside of there. If you go deeper, it's probably not. Like if you say VMware, is VMware proprietary company? Yes. But if you look at the back end of VMware, there's almost nothing proprietary there. Almost nothing. Everything, they take open source stuff and they add the modules, which are usually also open source, and they make a product. And they do a support for it. They do a support for it, that's true. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, it depends. But yeah, any other questions?
I tried the polyglot licensing because it asks for the moment.
Yes, it asks. Yes, this is a prototype, as I said. We checked it, but we have not verified it 10 times yet. So definitely, you have a website link. You have my contacts. So please, if you cannot send your wallet address, just ping me, send me your wallet address, and I will pull this through manually for the first time. And for the second meetup, we will make it automatic. Okay? This has just been set up like a couple of last days, and I was just eager to show you the options there, basically. But we're going to fix. Just contact me back, and we'll fix this. You can get all these contacts. You can get my phone number. Yes, there's this QR code that leads to About Me page. Just don't click on Visit My Website. Click on the social links below. So the social links all led to my active social profiles. You can write me there. Or you can go to itmeet.top and find the contacts in there. I will also refresh all the contacts just to double check after this. So, and of course, please come to the next meetup. We are gonna schedule, all the meetups are scheduled like this. It's after 15th of each month, first Friday after 15th, except for the May. But normally it's like first Friday after 15th. So that's how we're gonna do, and we're always here in Rebel for a couple of next, at least we will be here. And maybe we'll stay here, or we'll see how it happens. But do you have any other questions, guys? No? Okay, great. Then, thanks. And last thing is we have a networking now.